Hey. What's up, guys? Welcome back to For the Love of Hockey podcast. My name is Dylan. I am your host, and welcome back to episode 5. Um, First off, I've been recovering from a surgery, so I just want to say that this is kind of my episode to talk about the trade deadline. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that I'm not trying to hide, but I figured that the trade deadline was something that I should talk about. So, first off, I want to get into the trades that happened. Um, so, before the trade deadline on the 8th, there was a trade between the New York Islanders and the New Jersey Devils. Kyle Palmieri was sent to the New York Islanders along with Travis Sajak. In return, the Devils got AJ Greer and Mason Jobst, a first rounder in 2021 and a fourth in 2022. Lou Lamoriello is trying to stack up for the playoffs, and I forget. I think it was. I want to say it's Brock Nelson or Andres Lee. I forget which one is injured, but he needed to fill that void, and I think with this move, it really helped out his team heading into the playoffs. So then also they kind of picked up. Sorry, they picked up a defenseman, Braden Coburn from Ottawa for a seventh in 2022. I think with COVID and everything, I think that it's a must to have depth kind of everywhere, even in goaltending and whatnot. And I think this is a good another good move by the New York Islanders just to put some depth and have a deep roster just in case anybody gets injured. Chicago received a forward Brett Connolly, Riley Stillman, and Henrik Borgstrom, a seventh in 2021 for Lucas Carlson and Lucas Wallmark, who headed to Florida. These Florida, I think Wallmark would be like kind of like a depth guy. I don't know much about Lucas Carlson, but I don't see Chicago doing too much in the playoffs, and I think this is kind of to help out with probably their third line with Connolly and Borgstrom is a younger guy, so it can help out with their youth moving forward. Florida also picked up defenseman Brandon Montour from Buffalo for a third in 2021. This was a must need for Florida, considering Aaron Ekblad had got injured. He was on an unbelievable. He had an unbelievable season, and it sucks that he got injured. But hopefully Montour can fill a bit of the void back there on defense. Florida also got forward Sam Bennett from Calgary and a sixth in 2022 in exchange for Emil Heineman and a second in 2022. I think this is really good for Florida. Sam Bennett is kind of that. He's known for playoff hockey. He strives. He strives. I think that's the word I'm looking for. He excels. He excels in the playoffs, and he's kind of that gritty type of forward that probably will get under a couple people's skins in some playoff rounds. So that's a really good pickup, and as of late, he has been hot. So Yeah. Um, then we'll move on to the Leafs. Leafs, before the trade deadline day, they picked up forward Riley Nash from Columbus in exchange for a conditional seventh in 2022. It will be a sixth if he makes a certain amount of playoff appearances, which he may or may not, depends on injuries. He is a really good centerman, so I could see him being put in to be kind of their face-off guy in the playoffs. Then again, before the trade deadline, the Leafs picked up forward Nick Foligno and Stefan Noesen in a three-way deal with the Jackets and Sharks. The Jackets received a first from the Leafs in 2021 draft, and a fourth in the 2022 draft from the Leafs also. And then the Sharks, so Columbus retained 50%, I think, of Foligno's contract. And then what was left over from there, the Sharks came in as the third team to retain another 50% off of that total, as far as I know. So we were paying like 25%. Yeah, the Sharks got a fourth in 2021 from the Leafs for doing that. This I think was a must. Foligno's a former captain, obviously, of the Jackets, and I think this is good. He's that gritty type of guy that the Leafs have been missing. In the playoffs, he'll get under anybody's skin in the playoffs. He's the type of forward that he can play on the first line, he can play on the third line, he can play on the fourth line. You can put him in anywhere in the lineup and he will excel. So he's a key to our playoff run, and hopefully we go deep this year. Then the Leafs picked up goalie David Riddick from Calgary in exchange for a third in 2022. This was also a need, or not a need. It was a need. It was a must. It was a must need because Campbell picked up the slack ever since Freddie kind of had to take some time off because of knee injury. David Riddick comes in as like a solid third goalie. We did have Hutchinson, but I don't think he's kind of like the man. So that was another good move for the Leafs. And then on the deadline day, they picked up Ben Hutton as just defensive depth in exchange for a fifth in 2022. And then the Leafs and Sharks exchanged forwards. The Leafs got Suomela, and the Sharks got Barabanov. I think it's just depth on the forward side, just in case injuries come up in the playoffs. The Avs, they're a hot team right now. They sit with 66 points right now. They made some moves. They picked up defenseman Patrick Nemeth from the Wings in exchange for fourth in 2022. Considering they've had some injuries back on defense, this was kind of another must too. So I think it's good for them. Then they picked up goalie Devin Dubnyk from the Sharks in exchange for a fifth in 2021 and Greg Pattern. I think that's how you say his name. This was a must for them as well. Just what's this? Pavel Francouz. He was their goalie last year. He was kind of hot, but he took over when Grubauer got injured, and this year Francouz is injured. So having Dubnyk as a backup to Grubauer probably helps take off the load of Grubauer. So I think it was a smart move by them, especially heading into the playoffs where you don't know if injuries will pop up in goalies. And yeah. Um, then you got forward. I think it's Victor Soderstrom. Oh no, not Soderstrom. Soderberg. Carl Soderberg was picked up by the Avs from Chicago in exchange for Dickinson and Rolston. Um, again, this is some center depth. He's a guy that can come in and win you face off. So it was a smart move by them. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Avs are a team that could definitely be Final Four. They have to beat Vegas and whoever they face in the first round. That's who comes out of the West division. Yeah, I could see Colorado making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but again, you gotta ride your hot goalie. Vegas is a really good team, so they're gonna have a tough opponent there if Vegas makes it. As long as Vegas makes it to the second round, which I don't think they'll have a problem with. Then Tampa Bay, defending Cup champions, they picked up defenseman David Savard from Columbus and another three-way deal. The Jackets picked up another first in 2021 and a third in 2022. Brian Lashoff also headed to Tampa. I want to say he's a defenseman as well. I'll search him up in a second. Yeah, he's a defenseman. Probably just defensive depth for the playoffs. And then the Wings received a fourth in 2021. Again, it was the three-way deal was so that Tampa didn't have to take up as much salary from David Savard, which I don't see it really being a problem as the Wings have so much cap space. Tampa also picked up Frederick Cleason in exchange for Horna or Trona from the Sharks. Again, you need people for your taxi squad. So I think that was a smart move. Then the Wings sent defenseman John Merrill to the Habs in exchange for a fifth in 2021 and Hayden for Verbeek. Yeah, this is the Habs need some defensive depth, so I see this as a good move for them. They also picked up defenseman Gustafson, I forget his first name, from Philly in exchange for a seventh in 2022. Yeah, I wouldn't say that their defense is the worst. I would say I would debate that their forward group is young. So yeah, they had picked up Eric Stahl for center depth earlier before the trade deadline. So I think that they'll face the Leafs in the first round, but again, Carey Price could steal a fucking round. So it'll be a tough couple rounds there for the Leafs, but yeah, I think the Habs will be good, and yeah, to have the defensive depth heading into the playoffs is smart of them, especially with COVID going on. Taxi squad guys are needed, so very good couple moves by them. Winnipeg picked up defenseman Jordy Ben from Vancouver in exchange for a sixth in 2021. Vancouver, Winnipeg was a team that was looking for a defenseman, and I wouldn't say this is the guy that they wanted coming in, but it it helped them out on the back end. So um, they're a little bit better, but I think that they should have got a bigger name, someone like um, Jamie Oleksiak or someone like that. They're that I would say Winnipeg's weakest part of their team is their defense. So um, again, hopefully they can stop the Oilers, who I think they'll be facing in the first round. Connor McDavid just freaking lit them up. Um, Last night he had a hat trick in the game and had some unbelievable plays. So it's a toss up. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can definitely steal a series, and as long as Edmonton's goaltending holds down the fort, I could see Edmonton beating Winnipeg. So we'll see how Jordy Ben does for Winnipeg. Just before the trade deadline kind of ended, the Wings made a little splash. They sent forward Anthony Mantha to the Capitals in exchange for Jacob Vrana, Richard Panik, a first in 2021 and a second in 2022. I think that's a great fucking deal for them. I mean, Mantha wasn't like, it's not that he wasn't excelling in Detroit, but Mantha fits nicely with the Capitals. He's a power forward that can go into the corners. He can battle for the puck. He can snipe it. He's not someone that can't shoot. So I think this is a smart move by the Capitals. Now, who won the trade here? I'd like to see who that first is this year and who the second is next year. Vrana is a great forward, and I think he fits really well with Detroit's kind of lineup. I would say that they're a fast-paced team, and I think maybe Mantha didn't fulfill that kind of in Detroit. So with them moving towards the fast-paced kind of hockey, beat you with speed, I think Vrana is a great pickup considering he can top some. He can be a speedy guy and he can snipe the puck as well. So smart move by the Capitals heading into the playoffs, add some forward depth and a guy that can score the puck. So the Capitals also picked up Michael Raffle from the Flyers in exchange for a fifth in 2021. Again, a gritty guy that probably can play on your fourth line, make some big hits, and yeah. Pittsburgh made a splash. They got Jeff Carter from LA in exchange for a conditional third in 2022 and a conditional fourth in 23. Now, I don't know what the conditional means. I'm gonna look it up here. It could maybe mean like if he. I think it's basically he's going there to be a forward that brings in that Stanley Cup drive. Not that Pittsburgh doesn't have that, but Jeff Carter has won 2 Stanley Cups. He knows what the playoffs intel. So, okay, so Pittsburgh has been without forwards Evgeny Malkin with a lower body, Kasperi Kapanen with a lower body, and Brandon Tanev. So this is forward depth. This is each of those forwards there are out week to week. So for them to make a playoff push, I think I know that the standings in the East there are pretty tight. You got Pittsburgh with 67, The Capitals with 66. Islanders with 63 and Boston with 60. And then you have the Rangers with 56. Like it's a tight race at the top there. And if Pittsburgh's at the top, I think this is a smart move because you got somebody that knows how to play in the playoffs, who's won 2 Stanley Cups. I mean, most of Pittsburgh has also won 2 Stanley Cups because they won back-to-back in 16, 17, I think. I don't know what the conditional means. It could mean maybe if he retires, it turns into something different. A couple of factors could play into there. I don't know the full details. I don't think it really says. Yeah, I don't know. And for the Kings to free up some cap space, not that he probably didn't want to retire as a King, but he's a great forward. So it was a smart move by Pittsburgh. I would say maybe one of the biggest players that were talked about before the trade deadline, Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall was shipped to Boston. Boston Bruins. Must fucking move by Boston. Must. Smart. Curtis Lazar also went to Boston in exchange for forward Andres Bjork and a second in 2021. Now it's been 6 or 7 games, and Taylor Hall has 6 goals in 7 games. 6 and 7. Are you kidding me? Clearly, Buffalo didn't know what to do with him, and I don't know why the hell he couldn't produce. I think he was a fucking great pickup by Boston, but it just can't click. Buffalo is what I meant. If I said Boston, Buffalo, they don't know they didn't know what to do with them. They weren't producing. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's wrong with Buffalo, but it looks like Eichel may be shipped out of there too. So this is a smart move by Boston. They need some forward depth. They need some scoring. Besides that first line with Bergeron, Pastrnak, and Marchand, they don't really have too much scoring depth. Now with Hall coming in, he's a notified fucking sniper. He can shoot the puck. He won I think it was the Hart a couple years ago with the Devils. I think this was great heading into the playoffs. As long as they hold on to 4th, maybe if they get 3rd, it's a good move. And when you play against Boston, you definitely gotta watch out because they will beat your ass in the fucking playoffs. Trust me. Being a Leafs fan, I know. Boston also picked up defenseman Mike Riley from Ottawa in exchange for a 3rd in 2022. Mike Riley's kind of he's a quiet man. I was listening to Spit and Chicklets podcast, and he's somebody. Witt said it on Spit and Chicklets. He said he's that type of defenseman that you don't notice on some nights, but sometimes you do. And I think that's really good because he's somebody that just makes the defensive moves. He gets the puck out. He's a smart player, and I think considering how Boston sits with their defense, I think it was smart. Just like Torrey Krug left, they've had some injuries back there. When oh man, what's his face had a concussion from Tom Wilson. I can't think of his name right now, but I think this is another smart move heading into the playoffs. A couple other trades: Vancouver and Chicago exchange forwards. Highmore going to Vancouver and Gaudette going to Chicago. This is just forward depth. Vegas picked up Matthias Janmark, Decimore, and a 5th in 2022 in exchange for a 2nd in 2021, a 3rd in 2022, and a 5th in 2022. Chicago got the 2nd and the 3rd, and the Sharks picked up the 5th in 2022. Teams using a three-way deal. I think this is smart. You don't have to pay as much cap, and having another forward there in Vegas adds some depth for scoring in the playoffs. So smart move. Edmonton picked up defenseman Dmitry Kulikov in exchange for a conditional 4th in 2022 to the Devils. I think this is defensive depth. You never know what happens in the playoffs, and yeah. And then the Ducks and the Hurricanes exchange young defenseman Hayden Fleury went to the Ducks, and Yanni Hakanpää went to the Canes along with a 6th in 2022. I think Hayden Fleury hasn't really excelled in Carolina, considering Carolina's depth at defense as well. I don't think he's been given the opportunity to really show what he has. So I think with him going to the Ducks, kind of like it's a new world. He can dust off his shoulders, kind of just relax a little bit, and kind of show the Ducks actually what he's made of. So that's it for the trades. I think it was an overall decent trade deadline. Now let's talk about the divisional playoff race. It's a tight race in most divisions. In the North, you got Toronto with 65. Right now, they're running away with first place there. They're 8 points ahead second, which is Winnipeg with 57 points. Edmonton has 56, and Montreal has 49. Now, Montreal has 47 games played. Edmonton has 46. Edmonton slots. Sorry, Edmonton now is in second. I wrote this down yesterday. Clearly, I should have checked. So Edmonton has 58 points. Winnipeg still has 57, and Montreal has 51 now. So Montreal has played 47 games. Winnipeg has played 48. Edmonton has 2 games in hand on Winnipeg, so they could get second place. But I kind of think that I think it's concrete on who's facing who here. Unless a team goes on a losing streak here, I think it'll be Toronto versus Montreal, which will be a great first playoff round, and then Edmonton and Winnipeg. Whoever gets first or second and third, I don't think it really matters. I think they're gonna face off against each other, especially with them being within a point of each other. And Toronto sits 8 points, or now 7 points ahead of Edmonton, who's in second. So, yeah, and then Montreal sits 6 points behind third in Winnipeg. I don't think Calgary can really close the gap here. They have 45 points in 48 games, and that makes them 6 points behind Montreal. And Montreal still has a game in hand on them. So I think the four is kind of is concrete there. I think matchups are kind of set there. The East Division. I said it already, but Pittsburgh sits with 67 points and 49 games played. Washington sits 66 and 48. Islanders 63 and 48, and Boston 60 points in 47 games played. And then kind of on the bubble is the New York Rangers with 56. But Boston has 2 games in hand, so it depends. Excuse me. It depends what kind of streaks go on here. You could see if Boston goes on a losing streak, then yeah, like their goaltending is struggling right now. I guess it was not really struggling, but they don't have their number 1 or number 2 right now. So they have young guys. The Jeremy Swayman guy, he's in net. So we'll see how that division kind of shapes up. I think, yeah, definitely Buffalo and New Jersey are out of the race. So then you got the Central. Carolina has now clinched a playoff spot with 69 points in 48 games played. Florida has 67 and 50 games played. Tampa has 66 points and 48 games played. Nashville has 56 points and 50 games. And I want to say, my guess is, yeah, I think Dallas, as long as Dallas wins at least two, well, not at least two, but they stay within the 2 points of Nashville here heading forward. I think that I think they'll slot into number 4 because Dallas has 2 games in hand and they only sit 2 points behind. So yeah, Columbus is out of the race. Detroit's out of the race. They have 40 points for Columbus and 42 for Detroit. Yeah, they both have 50 games. It's kind of a who's going to be last there. Then in the West, Vegas sits with 70 points. They clinched a playoff spot. They've played 47 games played. Colorado clinched with 66 points and 46. Minnesota also clinched with 65 points in 47 games. And then St. Louis and Arizona. St. Louis has 48 and 46 games played, and then Arizona has 47 and 49. So there's 3 games in hand there with St. Louis. So I think as long as St. Louis stays hot, they'll probably hold on to that fourth place spot there. Yeah. Now I wanted to talk about this, but I'll probably get under some heat. If I didn't mention it in the last episode, which I don't think because I had my first guest on, Clark Monroe, go check that one out if you haven't already. Vancouver was out because they had I think it was 22 players caught a strand of COVID, and they were all off on COVID protocol. A couple of management people also caught it. So yeah, Vancouver came back in a game, in their first game against Toronto. William Nylander scored his 100th goal. Now I understand Vancouver. If you Vancouver Canucks fans want to come after me for this, please do. But I'll try and I think I have the clip, so I'm going to probably put it in this episode.
Plays the puck to center. Jimmy Vesey getting a chance to play in the top 6. There's a turnover. Here comes William Nylander. He shoots, he scores! Turnover at center ice, and welcome back, William Nylander. 3 minutes and 45 seconds in. It's 1-0 Toronto.
Well, one of the most anxious Toronto Maple Leafs has been Nylander, just out for precaution's sake on the COVID protocol, and he's excited to get back into the game. But the turnover in the neutral zone there creates this chance, and fumbled with it for a second. Look at the positioning of Holtby, just a little bit too over to his right, and what a quick shot up and over the glove and just on the inside of the post.
William Nylander was celebrating his 100th goal, and he let off a woo. And I saw that Vancouver Canucks fans were bashing him for celebrating a goal when Vancouver just came back from COVID and everything. Like, give the guy a break. Let him celebrate his 100th goal. Like, he's been in the league since like 2016. Like, I don't care if it's your 100th, your your 200th, your first. If that was you guys with your 100th, would we be bitching about it if we came back from COVID too? Like William also was off on COVID protocol because he was around somebody that had COVID, tested positive for COVID. So like he was nervous heading into that game because he was afraid that he might have given it to his teammates. Like he was off and he was very anxious about the situation. So for him to come into the game and score, he had a huge monkey get off his back and just like he got to relax and celebrate his 100th goal with a little woo, and he went and hugged his teammates. Y'all like started calling him out because you think that like it was the end of the world because he scored a goal on you guys. But like, what do you expect a guy to do when he scores his 100th? Like, I don't know. It just pissed me off that you guys think that he was celebrating because he scored on you guys after you guys came back from COVID and everything. Like, give the guy a break. You guys end up winning the game anyways, which I think was bogus because the puck was in the fucking net when Holtby got, well, I guess he wasn't scored on, but the puck was in the net behind the post there, and Holtby tries to take it out, tries to slide it out. It went to review. They couldn't see the puck from the one angle. They didn't show the freaking net cam, which I don't know why they didn't, but last time I checked, there was a net cam in every arena, but that's another conversation. It just, you guys won in overtime after that, and you guys complained about William scoring his 100th goal and letting out a little woo while he celebrated, and just give the guy a break, whatever. Another milestone, Mitch Marner scored his 100th against Winnipeg. Yeah, I'm going to talk about my Leafs for a second. Give me a break. Mitch is he's a machine, man. He's a magician. He's a magician. That man will pass the puck, I would say probably 9 times out of 10. And for him to finally score 100, I'm very happy for him. It was quite a weird goal. The puck was chipped into the Winnipeg's end, and it went off like one of the stanchions that hold the glass in, and Hellebuck went behind the net because he thought it was going behind the net, so he wanted to play it. The puck bounced off the stanchion, came out front. Mitchie was there and potted it into the back of the net and tripped over Hellebuck in the process as Hellebuck was trying to get back to the net. I think it was a fluky goal, but regardless, it was his 100th. Now, also former Leaf, Patrick Marleau. This man is a walking legend. He officially surpassed Gordie Howe, and Gordie Howe's record of 1767 games played, and is now the NHL's all-time leader in games played with 1,768 games played and counting. Oh, this man has been playing since before I was alive. He was drafted in 97, played obviously the 97-98 season. I was born in 1998 in March, so he was probably playing 6 months in the NHL. His entire NHL career is my life. That's beyond me. I watched the tribute to him, and one of the guys goes, "You played in 1990s, the 2000s, 2010s, and now 2020s. Yep, that's 40 years. Guy, I haven't been alive for 40 years. I'm 23. Give the guy, settle down. It's only been 23. I thought it was funny. It just shows you what kind of guys that play the game. Yeah, fuck. 1997 is when he broke into the league. He's the definition of hard work, dedication, and persistence. Um, he has scored 566 goals, which makes him 23rd all time. He has 1,197 points, which makes him 50th all time. He has 109 game-winning goals, which makes him 7th all time. And he is also now 4th in most consecutive games played with 900. 900. Now, in a couple episodes ago, I talked about a certain man that is now second, and he's still in the league. Keith Yandel, I think, has 915, 914, something like that. He passed second place recently. But for these guys to be in their late 30s, early 40s, and play over 900 straight games is unbelievable. They've taken care of their body. Like Marleau has taken care of his body for 23 years in the NHL. He's missed obviously a couple of games here and there, but he's played 900 straight games out of the 1,768. 900 straight. No injuries. Hasn't missed a game. I just, it speaks so much on like what it means to take care of your body. And like, obviously there's training staff that helps them. Yeah, I think that's an unbelievable milestone for him to get not only get the most consecutive or 4th most consecutive games played, but for him to beat Gordie Howe's record, who Gordie played in his mid 40s, late 40s, I think. For Marleau to beat a record that nobody thought was ever going to be broken just speaks to you on how much he loves the game and how much like just he's had so much dedication to the game, and he's guided players on the Leafs, which I loved. He guided Mitch, he guided Matthews. He's a great guy on the ice, and I think he's an even greater guy off the ice. So congrats to you, Marleau. You did it, and I don't think that this I don't think that this will be beaten again. But if it does, just know that your hard work didn't go unnoticed. So it's a true honor to have watched you wear the blue and white, and thank you for being an unbelievable human being on and off the ice. Yeah. Another milestone. Nicholas Backstrom celebrated his 1,000th game. He's had a sneaky little career. He was drafted 4th overall in 2006 by the Capitals. He's had a sneaky career. He's had 257 goals and 718 assists, which makes it 975 points. I don't know if it's just me and I don't pay attention to the Capitals a ton, but for him to be 25 games within 25 points within the 1,000th games, to hit 1,000 as well, like to be a point per game. He's an unbelievable guy. He's a pass first guy. He's been setting up Ovi for Ovi's most of Ovi's career. I think Ovi played like 1 or 2 seasons before him. I think it was 1. But he's the pass first kind of guy. But he can also net it. He can put it in the back of the net. He is Washington's franchise assist leader. He won a Stanley Cup in 2018, and he also has the Capitals rookie record in 07-08 with 55 assists. Through 2013 and 14 to 2018-19 season, he had at least 50 assists and 70 points. That means from 2013, 2002, 2000 to 2019, he had 50 assists in each of those seasons and at least 20 goals. That I just didn't know about this. And man, he's literally Ovi's right hand man, and he's had an unbelievable career, and I'm sure he's going to play a few more seasons. And man, the Capitals are lucky to have that guy, let me tell you. Now, I'm going to move on to this segment that I like to call the rookie race debate. Jackie Redmond, shout out to her on Twitter. She posted this video that kind of showed stats of this battle between Kirill Kaprizov and Jason Robertson. Now, for this entire season, I think everybody's thought that Kirill Kaprizov has been the consensus rookie leader. So everybody's been thinking that he's going to win the Calder. Jason Robertson has just snuck up on everybody. And Jason Robertson now only sits 2 points behind Kirill. Kirill, in 47 games played, has 22 goals and 19 assists with 41 points. Jason Robertson has played 43 games with 14 goals and 25 assists for 39 points. I would say that Jason Robertson is making a push to be the Calder Cup winner. Since March 1st, only 2 players have had more even strength points 5-on-5 than Jason Robertson. There's been a few more games, but regardless, Artemi Panarin and Connor McDavid have had each 27 points. Jason Robertson has had 26 since March 1st. Kirill on that list is 80th on 5-on-5 even strength points. Now on the power play, Kaprizov has 6 of his 19 goals have been on the power play, which is a 31.6% on the power play. Jason Robertson has 1 of his 14th on the power play, which is 7% total production. That right there just like tells you that Jason Robertson, like he excels on 5-on-5 and his team does well on 5-on-5. Kirill is more of a, we're on a power play, put me out there, I'm a shoot and I'm a score. Now, points per 60 minutes. Jason Robertson is at a 3.08 and Kirill is at 2.62. That right there, I mean, Jason has 4 games in hand. I think he could take the lead for points there. Now it's the Calder race is not who has the most points at the end of the season. It's who has had the bigger impact. Team goal differential for Minnesota, when Kirill is on the ice, the team is a +9. When Kirill is off the ice, they're also a plus is a +9 when Kirill's off the ice. Goal differential is 0. When Jason Robertson, JR, is on the ice for Dallas, they are a +15. But when he's off the ice, he's a minus. The team is a -3. That's a goal differential of +18. That means Jason has had more impact on Dallas when he's on the ice than when he's off the ice. He's hot. Keep him on the ice, Dallas. Let him get some points and solidify his Calder Cup. Or not Calder Cup. Jesus, his Calder Trophy. I mean, I mean, Kirill's rookie card is obviously more than Jason Robertson's, but I think Jason's might be worth a little bit more by the end of this season. So we'll see how that goes. Now that I've told you who is in, who was out, who was hot, and who was not, I'd like to thank you guys for listening to my 5th episode of For the Love of Hockey podcast. If you would like to follow me on socials, I have a link tree on For the Love of Hockey podcast on Instagram. I also have on my Twitter at my main Twitter at D434. Go to my profile, go to the link tree. You'll see everything from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, my other Twitter, and yeah, I would love it if you guys showed me some love there and followed me there. Thank you again for listening, and ya boys out. Peace.